And
yes.
Reporter from Voice America China branch. So given the volatility of U.S.-China relationships since President Trump took office, what message that Trump's campaign intends to deliver, particularly to Chinese American community in the 2020 election? What is strategy to reach out to Chinese voters, Chinese American voters in this election cycle?
Well, the Trump campaign is committed to reach out to every community in this country, including Asian Pacific Americans, Chinese Americans, because President Trump's agenda, pro-growth, pro-family, pro-jobs, pro-America, is a winning agenda. We want to make sure that every American, every community can hear this agenda, which is why I was here today to speak about the Republican Party, a party that stands for prosperity, security, and opportunity for all Americans. And it's incumbent upon us at the campaign to just make sure the message gets out by training new volunteers. And as we're seeing, this is a growing Republican Party. We have people that were never Republicans, people that were Democrats are joining this Republican Party because President Trump's agenda to put America first is resonating with all Americans. We have a real opportunity as a party to grow this party and win even bigger in November.
next question? Yeah.
I am retired Major General from Republic of Korea Air Force. Thank you very much, especially your grandfather saved our Korea. But this time, Korea is a very dangerous situation because this coming April 15th general election, the leftist alliance, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, Moon Jae-in, these three alliances will get 260 seats out of 300. That is 86%. It's impossible, but it's very possible because of fraud election system. So if that is occurred this coming April 15th general election, Korea will be communized within 3 months. If Korea is communized in end of July or early of August, it will impact this coming November 3rd Trump re-election. Maybe you don't understand what dangerous situation the Korea is. So I would like to give you the information. Why don't you study over that? And as senior advisor for Pence and why don't you ask them how to do? But that is my question.
Well, I'm a senior advisor for the President's Re-election Campaign Committee, so my duties and responsibilities are solely focused here on our election. I can tell you what this president's running on in America. The president's running on keeping America great. That means stopping the spread of socialism in this country. As we speak and gather here today, a Democratic socialist is leading the Democratic primary, and they are debating right now in South Carolina. But we see that socialism, communism fail. They destroy opportunity, prosperity, and security. And if America chooses socialism and not freedom in November, we'll see the same failures take place here in our country, which is why President Trump said last year at the State of the Union that America will never be a socialist country. And you can bet with President Trump in office for 4 more years, America will not be a socialist or communist country.
Do you think, I'm sorry, just a follow-up question, do you think that message would resonate with Chinese community in the U.S.?
I think that message will resonate with all Americans, which is why we have a broad coalition at the Trump campaign, coalitions of Latinos for Trump, Black Voices for Trump, Veterans for Trump, Women for Trump. We are reaching and we are doing a concerted effort to reach all communities, Chinese Americans as well, about this agenda that President Trump is fighting for every day, an agenda that's about more growth, not more government, agenda that's about prosperity, security, and opportunity. And I do think that message resonates with Americans if we do our part and share that message.
Yes, sir. I have two questions. My name is Sohpal Singh Noor, and I'm a bureau chief of PDC News Channel and White House correspondent. I know that in Indiana, the Sikh community is a big supporter of Vice President Mike Pence when he was governor here.
Mm-hmm.
So how you see the role of Sikh community specifically, Indian community, and specifically the Sikh community all over United States? And second is, as the recent trip in India, President Trump signed a deal in defense like helicopters, $3 billion deal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea in future India and United States gonna sign kind of those kind of trade deals, which is gonna be helpful to the directly the production sector in India?
Well, first of all, the Sikh community is a tremendous community in Indiana and all over the country, hardworking, and you can bet that this president, vice president, want to make sure that the Sikh community and all communities in this country have the opportunity to pursue their dreams with hard work. Very proud of the president's commitment to religious freedom in this country. And I'd submit to you that President Trump is the most pro-life president in American history. We're seeing a president that's fighting for freedom of religion on college campuses, freedom of speech, freedom for the unborn, freedom for commerce, a free, fair, and reciprocal trade. So the opportunity for our country to pursue our freedoms, I think, is really inspiring. And the best is yet to come, as the President Trump says, if we reelect President Trump for 4 more years. So we have to do our part. But speaking to India, yes, great news coming out of the president's trip. Obviously, the president has a great working relationship with President Modi, and we saw a great strategic partnership. I would encourage those listening to look at the comprehensive strategic partnership signed and outlined and published today by the White House, where it outlines the goodwill, mutual interests, and economic opportunities between India, the largest democracy in the world, and America, the oldest democracy in the world. So there really are tremendous opportunities with the Asian Pacific region that Asian Pacific Americans here recognize because of President Trump. And if we want to keep this growth, this prosperity, and this opportunity going here in America, we need to re-elect President Trump for 4 more years.
So we have a question. We know that one of the most important messages from Trump administration is that we put America first, but some people or communities may put like that equal to white supremacy. And so how does the administration explain that, and also what does the administration do to prevent like riots or something, or prevent the communities to be anxious? Because like African American and also Asian American communities may be afraid of that. So can you explain on that? Thank you.
So the America First agenda doesn't mean America alone, and the America First agenda is about putting our country first for economic opportunity for all Americans. And we look at the results of that agenda and how it's helping Asian Americans. Lowest unemployment rate in June of this past year at 2.1% for Asian Americans. Lowest unemployment rate in the history of our country for Black Americans. Lowest unemployment rate, record low under this president, for Latino Americans. This America First agenda, which means putting our workers, our jobs, and our opportunity in this country first, is creating more opportunity for all Americans. But I would also direct those listening to understand that America First doesn't mean America alone. The President Trump, has committed over $600 million in humanitarian aid for the people of Venezuela. who are suffering right now. 1 in 3 people there live in hunger. On average, Venezuelans have lost about 24 pounds. The United States stands with the people of Venezuela, their interim president, Juan Guaido, in their quest for freedom and democracy. And we saw that America first doesn't mean America alone when the U.S. welcomed, and we saw bipartisan and cheered interim president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido, at the State of the Union. This agenda about putting our country and our interests first actually makes not just America stronger, but the world stronger.
Vietnamese community, do you have a question? Philip?
I have one more.
Sure.
So Bernie Sanders has very strong grassroots movement. Do you see Trump's campaign could surpass that level in terms of grassroots organizing?
Well, Bernie Sanders had the largest small dollar donor, meaning less than $45 pot of donors in American history until President Trump came along. The average donation to the Trump campaign is about $35. To give you kind of those numbers and what that means, over 50% of our donors, millions of donors, are women. So the notion that the America First agenda isn't an agenda for all Americans, it's just the facts don't support that. But the movement that is this America First agenda in which President Trump is leading is bringing about grassroots movement across the country, which is why tonight we convened a grassroots training for our Asian Pacific Americans to talk about how they can use their voice to knock doors, make phone calls on our app, Trump Talk, visit TrumpVictory.com to get engaged and enlist to help this president get reelected. So you're seeing right now, as we convene, what is the creation of the largest grassroots operation in American political history. And it is going to be key to victory because President Trump's message is just resonating with so many people. A new growing Republican Party, which, as I mentioned in my remarks, you know, in the Wisconsin rally, 20,000 people RSVP'd. This was last month in Wisconsin. 20,000 people asked for a ticket, email, phone number. 50% of the 20,000, 10,000 people that registered for a ticket were not Republicans. So that shows you that this is a movement of people that are putting our country first, people that want more prosperity, security, and economic opportunity for all Americans. And it's a real opportunity for us as a Republican Party, this growing Republican Party, to continue to grow and continue to engage and grow the largest grassroots movement in American history, which is why we gathered here tonight in the room right behind us, which is why people are getting trained and involved, and we're going to continue to recruit more people that want to help President Trump get reelected.
So John, can we take one last question or two questions?
Sure, I'll do 2 more. That works.
Right here.
Okay, last question.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more.
I don't have a question,
Two
but
more.
we from Vietnamese television, and I would like to ask you to say something like have people come out to vote for Trump, so I can.
Sure. To the Vietnamese? Vietnamese?
Yeah.
Great. Well, to the Vietnamese Americans getting ready to vote in November, I'd submit to you we have a pretty clear choice. A choice between more growth, more prosperity, and more government, more control. And if we use our voice, if you tell your friends why President Trump has earned 4 more years, we can have more growth for America after November.
If you really have another question, one more.
Sure.
If you really, yeah, sure.
This is I just would like to, it's a tremendous opportunity for me to be here on behalf of the Trump campaign to share this message with your communities, with the Asian Pacific Americans and communities all over the world. So thank you for the opportunity. I'll take one more question if that works for you,
Oh,
Marina.
yeah.
Okay.
And if you want
Let me
to,
ask you the one question.
in
which is-
Indian, if you can introduce yourself.
I already introduced,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I can again introduce. My name is Sopal Singh, from PTC
Indian.
News.
Mm-hmm.
That is an Indian TV channel.
Mm-hmm.
My question is immigration policy. It gives impression that President Trump is very strict. But generally we think because to secure our borders, to secure our community, we should stop illegal immigration. And President Trump is not against immigration, but illegal immigrants. So it gives the impression that President is very strict on immigration, and message is not going right to the minorities and the people they are coming from the other countries like India, from Punjab. So is there any specific policy, or as you are an advisor, campaign advisor, do you have anything in your mind so the right message can go to the people?
Well, as a campaign senior advisor, I don't advise on policy like immigration and actions and decisions made by the White House. I can tell you that the president has continued to put the safety and security of the American people first since day one as President of the United States, in securing the border, stopping the flow of illicit drugs, stopping human trafficking, which is hurting people on both sides of the border, which is hurting those most vulnerable, women and children, who are often victims of human trafficking. That's something that President Trump is committed to stopping. And we've seen this president since day one and continue to secure this border. And even when Democrats have tried to obstruct and resist those commitments to secure the border, President Trump has continued to make good on that promise. And very proud of the president's work, promises made, promises kept. But as the campaign, we follow and we don't lead on those policy decisions. Yep.
Any more questions? Now we conclude this press conference.
So,
Again, thank you very much. Oh, you have a question?
Yeah.
so from the campaign's perspective, which states in this election cycle is the most important for Trump that he has?
Well, it may sound cliche, but every state is important. I think we're on the offense. I think we see a lot of states that we didn't win in 2016 that we can very much win in 2020. Virginia, the state we are currently in, being one of those states. We can win Virginia in the fall, but it's going to take a bigger and better grassroots operation to get this message, this America First message out, talk about the record of results under President Trump's leadership, record low unemployment for Asian Americans, record low unemployment for Latinos, Black Americans, women, and in over 50 years. We are at a tremendous opportunity in front of us as a Republican Party because of President Trump's pro-growth agenda, and that's a message that we're carrying to all states. So it's more about which states can we win that we didn't win, and how large of a margin can we win by if we at the campaign get this message out and make sure the president has the support that he rightfully has earned, because he's fighting so hard for us, the American people. It's time we fight and do our part for him.
One supplement. As you said a few minutes before, you said this meeting is like some kind of training for the Republican supporters and Republican leadership in the state of Virginia. So what specifically, can you explain what kind of training or some kind of ideas do you have?
Right. So you'll see more of this. Brad Parscale, our campaign manager, comes from a non-political digital background. And we are going to have new digital tools to allow people to make phone calls, encouraging supporters to vote, encouraging them to register from the comfort of their couch. And they can do it on an app from their phone. They can also become digital activists. They can become a Trump Victory Fellow. They can figure out where a MAGA meetup is going to happen in their neighborhood, where a rally will happen, where a Trump Victory Leadership Initiative training will happen. So there's a very strong, and it's getting ready for release, but a very strong sort of digital campaigning effort that is going to take the energy we see at the rallies for President Trump and create a call to action. So you go to a rally, there's 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 people. Well, now, how can we get them engaged? How can we help them knock doors, register new Republican voters, and identify new supporters that were never Republicans, were Democrats, walked away from the party, or just were never engaged in the political process? So you're going to see a very exciting effort on the Trump campaign to integrate our digital campaigning efforts with our ground game efforts.
60,000 people in the United States and 110,000 people in India recently.
Yeah. Well, there was a huge rally there yesterday. President Trump and President Moody, I know, had a great time. And it's an exciting moment for the United States and for India. The best is yet to come. It's incumbent upon us here in the United States to re-elect President Trump, though, if we want to keep that opportunity moving forward for 4 more years.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
This is information.
Okay.
Hi, this is for media. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Are you with media? I took the 2 pictures for you. Perfect. Look, okay, I'll give it to you.
Just like that.
Oh, I can send. Okay, send it.
Okay, one more. Oh, okay.
My phone number.
This is. Okay. Thank you.
What's your name?
Lynn.
Lynn. L-Y-N.
Let's see how this one is. This is Rebecca.
Nice to meet you.
Last year we won. We actually did a